I stopped that last video too quick. I want to say one other thing about this. So in terms of mode, I'm going to scroll this down a little. So in terms of mode, you can have different options. So there can be no mode. You don't have to have a mode. It could be bimodal. What do you think bimodal means? Think about your Latin and your word bases. Yeah, two, right? So you could have more than one. So there could be two modes. That's okay. If they both have the same amount, like if this had had another 77 in my score and it had had another 62 of scores, right? Then that would be bimodal because both of those happen twice. Here's the other thing. You can also have what's called multimodal. If they all occur more than once and it happens again, like you had a couple of 94s, they all happen twice, that's considered multimodal. Okay, I just wanted to be clear about that, just making sure that you understand what mode was and how we were playing with that one. Okay, now let's check this out. Now we're just going to be using our mean, median, and mode and working with it and seeing how it all plays. So in this in this table 2, we're going to look at some data on song names and their length in seconds. So these are how many seconds that these songs happened in the 1970s. The 70s, you guys, that's so awesome. So find the median length of these songs. So anytime I want to find median, what am I looking for? The middle number. Good. And they all have to be in order, right? So first and foremost, line it up. Ooh, let's see. What's the shortest here? Oh, Southern Nights. I'm going to squeeze this in just a tad here. So I've got 179 for Southern Nights. What's next? Sister Golden Hair at 201. Then what do we have going for us? Heart of Glass, 206. Are you guys familiar with any of these songs at all? The hustle. Come on, you got to know some of these, right? What's next? I got to quit playing these songs in my head and look at We Are Family, right? See, I knew you knew some of this stuff. Come on, stick with me. Oh, come on. You have to know Staying Alive, Staying Alive. Oh, it's fun. 240. My Sharona. Oh, I'm running out of space. I got so excited about doing these songs. I didn't pay attention. Blackwater and then Freebird. Oh, Freebird. 257 is Blackwater. And then I'm going to put it just down below here. 284. Just so we can keep that with that Freebird. Okay. If you don't know these songs, you ought to YouTube them so you can see, right? Because it's just good stuff. All right. How many songs do we actually have here? Let me get my pointer. I tried to get it and it wouldn't grab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Odd number. Odd number. So that means if I look at something that's in the middle, there's 4 on each side, and 217 is my middle. So We Are Family here is the middle. So this is my median. And literally that's it. That's all there is to it. You're done. If it's an odd number, it's the number that's in the middle. If it's even, you do what we did before, and then you find the number between those two sets of data. Not bad, right? Yeah, so we're not trying to be tricky. It's not difficult stuff. It's just I make sure that you understand these different ways to find this central tendency. All right, check this out. Following data represent the number of O-ring failures on the shuttle Columbia for its 17 flight prior to its fatal flight. All right. So here are the number of failures. Find the number of mode. What's mode again? Most often, O-ring failures. Okay, so this is a sweet gig. They've got it set up for us. There's the zeros. There are the ones. There's a 2. And I'm out of colors, so let's pick how about pink? That's pretty. There's a 3. Okay, so how many zeros do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I count 11. How many ones? 4. How many 2s? 1 and a 1, 3. Now, You can visually look at this and that's super obvious, right? So what is the mode of O-ring failures? 0. And that's it. Because 0 occurred most often. And that's the key. Pretty sweet, right? All right. Let's keep on keeping on here. That's it. Mean, median, and mode. We're just digging on that and making sure you really understand it. That's the whole point of this section. All right, Yolanda, what you got going here, girl? You want to know how much time she typically spends on her cell phone. All right, she goes to her phone's website and records the call length for a random sample. Oop, telling me random sample so I know what symbol to use of 12 calls shown in this table. Find the mean and the median. All right. And which measure of central tendency best describes the length of a typical phone call? All right, so first off, it says mean, so let's add them up. So if I'm looking at my mean, what symbol if it's a sample? X bar, good, that's what you have to go for. Now, I'm okay if you do this in your calculator. I'm going to write it out because it's your notes, and I want to make sure you understand where these numbers come from. 1 plus 7 plus 4 plus 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus, 48. Look at that. Must have been a real legit conversation on that one. 3, 5, 3, 6. And then how many are there? 12. You can always check yourself by making sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, I wrote them all. So divide by 12. Put all of that into your handy-dandy calculator. And X bar is 7.25. So 7.25 is the mean length of a call. Just to make sure. Okay, so it asks us for the mean and the median. So let's do the median. What do you have to do if you're going to look at a median? Yeah, put them in order. So let's do that. I got a couple of ones, and you have to represent all of your data. So if there's 2 of the same thing, then put it in there. So I only see 1, number 2, but you got some 3s. 1, 2, 3 3s. Check me, make sure I'm doing this right. I see a 4 and another 4, so I got a couple of 4s. There's a 5, 6, 7, and 48. Is that all of them? Let's check. Well, I kind of wrote those close together, didn't I? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because 48 is one number. 12. Okay. Yeah, I should have spread those out a little bit better. That's my bad. All right, but if I'm looking at a median is that number in the middle. If there are 12 of them, I'm going to go for 6 on one side and 6 on the other side. Because remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because that 48's together. So what happens whenever I'm looking at this number that's in the middle? Yeah. Do you need a calculator for that? What's halfway between 3 and 4? Yeah, 3.5. So my median here is 3.5 as the median length of the phone call. Now check this out. What? Look at these numbers. 7.25. So a phone call, the mean length is 7.25 minutes. This is 3.5 minutes. Now you tell me, the question asks which central tendency, the mean or the median, better describes the length of a typical phone call, Which one do you think, 3.5 or 7.25? Yeah, 3.5. Look at all this. 7.25 is the mean value way up here. No. What's happening to this data? The majority of our phone calls are right in here, right? So 3.5 minutes is a better use of that. What's throwing this off? Why is the median a better situation? Yeah, you got this rando 48 out here, right? So with this super long phone call that's not a typical phone call for her, that's called skewing the data. So then this is skewing that data over here to make that mean skewed. And so then the median is the better choice here. The median, I'm going to write this up. Let's do it. Let me scoot it up a little if I can. the median is a better representation of the data because 48, and if something is way outside of where we need it to be, we call it an outlier. All right, so if it's skewing that data because it's way outside of everything else that we're looking at, I'm going to put in here just so we can get these words, is an outlier, just so that you can see it. So the median is a better representation here. All right, so that's what we're talking about, finding these different central tendencies and then discussing which is our better case scenario. All right, cool. We're going to talk about that more here in just a second.